Hello friends, it's me Natalie again, here with another YouTube video. Today's video I'm going to go on a rant about diet culture. At first I was going to write a script, but the more I tried to do that, the more just frustrated I got, and I was like, I'm just going on a rant here. First, I do want to preface it by saying that this video is just as much for me as it is for anyone else who's watching. I am definitely guilty of believing in good versus bad food. Also, I'm going to be turning likes and dislikes off for this video because people and their diets can be like Scientologists and their Tom Cruise. Also, I would like to say that I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not licensed in nutrition. So I am going to put a link in the description box of an actual registered dietitian whose videos have actual references to medical journals to back up what she's saying. First, what I want to say is that diets, as in caloric deficits, that are unsustainable meal plans never work in the long term. Like, sure, at first people lose weight and they may be even able to keep that weight off for a few years. However, we have known from study after study after study that it does not work in the long term. We have known for a very long time that people's weight has a lot to do with genetics. Just like your eye color, just like your height, in general, your set point weight cannot be changed. It is a range that fluctuates based off of stress, environmental factors, like if you have access to nutrient-dense foods or more processed foods, the amount of activity you're doing, etc., etc. We have known for a very long time that weight in general, someone's body size, is not something you can really change in a sustainable way. However, due to the multi-billion-dollar diet industry, we love to make people feel like weight is something that they can change, especially if you buy shit. And what I'm not trying to say is that everyone should just go out and eat McDonald's every day and just eat processed foods and, sit around and not do any exercise. I'm not saying that. I'm saying balance. I'm also saying that what you eat does not determine how good of a person you are. It has nothing to say with your willpower or morality. Wellness culture and diet culture is extremely toxic. It perpetuates this idea that you can pick what you want to look like and change, and if you aren't able to do that, it's because of a character flaw or weakness, or because you're not subscribed to the right kind of eating. Life is too short to be worrying about a number on the scale and about how many calories you're eating a day. What life is not too short for is to be eating foods that you enjoy in a balanced way. It's about balance. It's also about not equating morality to food. There's a lot of money in selling people less food or baseless consultation for more money. I don't want to make people feel bad if they like their keto diet or their paleo diet. If that works for you, then great. I just do want to point out that you don't have to be on that kind of diet if it doesn't bring you joy. The idea is to feel good in your body, to be nourished. The best way to be is to nourish your body and give it what it wants, to get enough nutrients, to get enough calories, to enjoy your birthday, to enjoy going out to eat with your friends, and not thinking that you're a bad person for doing it. And sure, I understand that weight loss has a lot to do with health and that your doctor may have suggested that you lose weight. However, we know that eating a caloric deficit, an unsustainable diet, such as that MyFitnessPal, 1,200 calories a day kind of thing, doesn't work in the long term. It only works in the short term. And when it does work in the long term, it's because people have to constantly live like that, which is, for most people, not sustainable. And a lot of this information comes from correlation without causation. For example, people say obesity causes all these health problems. No, it doesn't. Obesity is linked to other different factors that are also linked to health problems. First of all, obesity is an offensive term in itself because it doesn't account for different types of bodies. It's just determined by how tall you are and how much you weigh. It doesn't have anything to do with your bone structure, your muscle mass, or anything else. People can be in a larger body, and that has nothing to do with the impact on their health. And I know that people freak out about this because we live in such a fat-phobic society. Like, when I watch YouTube video of a larger person, there's always comments underneath that are making fun of their weight or, telling them that they're what's wrong with the world. And that is just so disgusting to me. There are so many other factors that go into health that have nothing to do with weight. Eating a balanced diet with nutrient-dense foods, making sure you're getting enough nourishment and nutrients, making sure you're getting enough activity to get that blood flowing and your heart working. It does not have anything to do with trying to fit into a certain pant size and that being smaller is better. And part of this really upsets me because a lot of medical doctors really subscribe to this and will make people in larger bodies feel bad when they go to the doctor for health problems. And a lot of the times they just immediately blame the issue on the person's weight, when a lot of the times that's not what's going on. And even if it does have to do with their weight, their prescription is to go on a diet, which we know doesn't work. What does work is eating a sustainable, balanced meal plan with foods that you like and foods that are nourishing and also fun. When people go into a restrictive diet, your brain goes into starvation mode. You start preparing for a famine. And it creates this sense of food scarcity. And a lot of the times when people are on diets with caloric deficits, they end up finding ways to get that extra amount of calories that they're lacking in secret, reaching for those chips, but it doesn't count. And then it ends up turning into this Last Supper effect where people are like, well, I've already been bad, so I guess I'll just polish off the rest of this bag of chips, and tomorrow I'll be good. When people go on restrictive diets, yes, they tend to lose weight, but then eventually people have been in starvation mode that you go back to the way you were eating and your body will even want you to eat more because it thought it was starving. So that's why you hear so many studies that say most people that go on a diet gain it back plus more. The good news is, though, that there is a set point weight theory, which means that if you continue to nourish your body by eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're full, your metabolism will restore itself and you will eventually be the weight that your body prefers to be at, whether that is big or small or somewhere in the middle. Your body does not care what pant size you want to be. Your body cares about getting enough nutrients and nourishment so that it can perform and do the things that it does. Your body also does not need you to do cleanse or detox or eat clean. You have kidneys, you have a liver. That's what that is there for. As long as you're eating in a balanced way. Again, I'm not saying that it's the best idea to eat fast food every day, but I don't want to say that eating fast food is inherently bad or wrong. I also want to throw in some compassion in there because as someone that's been on diets myself, I don't want to make people who are watching this feel bad about themselves. It is human nature to feel insecure. The world is very unpredictable. We really do want a sense of control. And a lot of times when people offer us a plan that seems like the answer and the right way to be, we want to follow that. We want to do that because we want reassurance that we're doing good. We're doing things right. This also leads to when we fail or break the rules, we feel bad about ourselves. It leads us to feel guilty if we get dessert when we go out to eat. Anyway, I'm sorry for sounding so angry. I am actually trying to be compassionate. I don't want to make anyone feel bad. I just want to remind people, or if you didn't know already, whatever weight that you're at is okay. And you shouldn't feel bad about it. If you had a Burger King or you ate a cookie, you don't need to think that you're a bad person or that you don't have self-control. If you are worried about your weight in terms of health, I would highly suggest seeing a registered dietitian, especially one trained in intuitive eating or health at every size. And I know this is going to trigger some people who watch this because we live in a very fat-phobic society where people are just so married to the idea that being smaller is better. And the more that I learn about diet culture and I see the ways that I was tricked, I get kind of mad. Like, yeah, I did think eating a plant-based diet was better for you. Like, I ever remember my mom being like, yeah, but when we switched to being vegan, all our health problems went away. Yeah, that's the whole correlation, not causation thing. When you cut out a whole group of food, you are forced to look in other places to find things to eat, which is diversifying your diet and including more nutrients. When you stop eating meat, you also start eating beans and legumes and tofu, and you start looking for more vegetables to liven up the meals. It also probably means a lifestyle change, like you start exercising more, and there's all these other things, wrapped up in that. Weight is only one indicator of health, and being skinny does not mean healthy. And in fact, from being in so much eating disorder treatment, I can guarantee you it is not the fact. I have friends who had eating disorders to try to make themselves small, and they have permanent heart conditions now. Health problems that will not go away. And that's really sad. Yeah, I just want to throw out some compassion in there, and I don't want you to feel bad if you're on a diet or you've been on diets, because I've done it too. My rage is coming more from feeling like I've been tricked by society, not other people are doing things that make me mad. So I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. I understand that, adhering to these kinds of diet culture rules can really bring a sense of control. But what it also can bring is really low self-esteem and making you feel bad about yourself, which I'm not here for. Anyway, you can take what I said or leave it. Right now, for me, I have been working with a dietitian on intuitive eating, and it's really opened my eyes to this kind of stuff. But I get super mad about diet culture sometimes because I can see how I used to believe things that were just freaking not true. I have done cleanses, I have done diets, and I have believed in good versus bad food, and I have believed that my better self was my smallest self. And, that's just not right, and it's not good, and I will not have that anymore. It's time to crush that shit once and for all. I've had it. It is irrational, and it does not lead to happiness, and life is too short for that shit. Anyway, that's it. I swear I will stop now. Remember to like and subscribe. Well, I guess I'm taking away the like button on this one. Do whatever you want, and I appreciate you. I love you. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. Love yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!